Hey, what is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, back for another Hot 5 new releases. And again, I'm still not set up with my proper equipment, so I do apologize in advance. You're gonna see a ghetto-ass video, but I guarantee if you do make it through the video, you are also going to get some pretty dope-ass ideas. So, I'm super fired up. I hope you're still fired up. My cat's definitely fired up, although she's playing around and exploring, so I will get her on next time. But let's go and do this. Okay, so we're on my screen share, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at Amazon Hot New Releases. That's what we're gonna look at. We're gonna look at books, and this time around, we're gonna look in USA, of course, and then we're gonna go to children's books. Now, I know I've experimented looking at other countries, and a lot of people mentioned they like that. So if you did like that, please do not hesitate to put the countries you want me to look at, and I'll do a special edition just for you. But for now, we're gonna go into activities, crafts, and games, which is the usual thing. And we're gonna look at activity books. And if we cannot find enough ideas this time around, since we do normally frequent this section, we will jump into the coloring books, and then we'll take a peek at diaries as well. But it's also not going to be a surprise when we do see the Easter books dominating the charts. Keep in mind, Easter is this Sunday. So next week we will have a special edition Easter themes or Easter niches so that we can help prepare for next Easter. Because remember, at the end of the day, if you're keeping a log of what's hot every single Easter, you will be better than prepped, or you will be one of the best prepped sellers out there. And if you do not have that luxury, then you can also use the time machine tactic, which I do use in several other videos. So keep an eye out for that, just in case you weren't organized enough to keep a log, because I never am. That's kind of why I use the time machine tactic. That's the whole purpose of it. So here again is a first Easter peek. Here's another Easter coloring book. And then there's this one, which I like a lot. We've mentioned this one in past videos, and we usually refer to it as the big vehicle coloring book, but this one has two really cool elements that I love a lot. First and foremost, it is specifically for the demographic of toddlers, which is excellent. We've talked about picking a demo in your books, and this one clearly says it's for toddlers. But on top of that, they went a step ahead and they gave some adjectives to the jumbo vehicles, thus making them more animated and making people more excited about this one than just a big vehicle coloring book or just big truck coloring book. This is the big jumbo truck, which makes people have the illusion that it's bigger, badder, and better than all the others out there. And that's why kind of using some adjectives in some of your titles is an excellent idea, and that's the reason that I'm picking this one right out of the gate, because all they managed to do is create a bigger, badder, and better book by just adding a couple of adjectives to the front. Now, it could have been the bigger, badder, and better vehicle coloring book. That would have sounded a lot sexier than the big jumbo vehicle coloring book, but you guys get the drift when I do that with just that particular example. Here is the extra large. Here's another perfect example. The extra large Easter activity book. People will have the illusion that this has some extra stuff, and that's why they did a fantastic job, and they are now 6,000 in books with only 2 reviews. I cannot stress enough what they did, which is ingenious, which you should be doing in every single one of your books, creating adjectives that describe what the book is. And in this case, being bigger, badder, and better, or extra large, is giving them extra money in their pocket, which I absolutely love. This is Bluey and his whole family. I didn't even realize Bluey had an entire family. This is Mrs. Bluey and little Bluey Junior, and then the Bluey girl. That's fantastic. I tell you, Bluey can take a dump in the ocean, and they'll immediately make a book about Bluey taking a dump in the ocean. That's kind of why I like Bluey so much, and he's kind of won me over steadily as time has gone on. Here's one that I like a lot: how to go anywhere and not get lost. So I will keep an eye out on that and see if anything else pops up. Here we got Bluey again, and things that we've seen in the past. We talked about Adventure Boys last time and how we could do this for any demographic again, and also give different crafts and activities for that particular demographic. And we talked about the fashion design book and how you can create a good amount of books of this sort for any profession. Dinosaurs, not a surprise that dinosaurs are in here, and the books about God and Jesus. Okay, we talked about dinosaur coloring books in the past, and those always do extremely well. Now here's another one that I like a lot. Again, this is going into the sub niche of a major holiday. I don't particularly know what Ramadan is, but maybe somebody out there can enlighten me. But this reminds me of the books that we talked about last time, and this one is dominating the charts. It's at 74K BSR. It has 0 reviews, and it's still doing that well. I do happen to like the cover a lot. I think it's extremely cute, But the fact that it has 0 reviews, many of you could put a book out there and grab a couple reviews and already be well ahead of your competition. So this is a definite one that you have to jump into, which is sub-niching major holidays. This one's pretty cute. It's a million cute animals. And I'm pretty sure Lulu Mayo has a major brand around these million themes. In this case, it's a million cute animals, but we actually clicked into her titles. We could probably see a million more different ideas on how she's gone about and done this. So I'm gonna go to click into her name and we'll take a look at all the rest of her books. All right, here we are with all the rest of her books. She's got how to draw unicorns, how to draw a bunny, a million unicorns, a million sloths, a million owls. And if we sort down here by the most popular, we could see that the unicorns are at 26,000 BSR, but here's the sloths at 12,000, the animals at 54,000. So she's got quite a list of extensive titles that are under the 100K mark, thus making her a good deal of money. And also she's branded this. It is branded under her particular name, but again, this could just be a ghost name. This could just be her Filipino worker or somebody random out there. I'd be surprised if this was her real name, to be quite honest with you. Okay, so let's continue to move on. Here is a second time that I've seen a book similar to this. In this case, it's a scavenger hunt, which goes along the lines with the one that we talked about earlier on how to explore. So I would be buying this and checking out what it is, because now you can incorporate this theme of making kids get out there and do extra things with the books that you create, and thus it can make it really interactive. So this kind of reminds me of Pokemon Go, and we all know what happened with Pokemon Go. There were all sorts of people getting injured from Pokemon Go, but I still think this is a fantastic idea. The one right over next to it also is fantastic. We've been talking a lot about how food and baking dominate the kids charts, but how exactly do we incorporate them into our bookmaking? This does it. It creates activities for your food. And I could even see you getting and taking this a step further by even animating some of the food, giving them eyes, giving them hands, making them get into mischief, and also putting some sort of activity for your kids along with these. So I like the idea of both of these. They're both very cool. They're both very interactive. They get kids out of their chairs, and they make sure that they keep them in line by exercising and just moving around instead of sitting around in their chair all day like I do. All right, so the next 50, let's have a peek. Again, more Easter books, more Bluey, which is not a surprise. Bluey this time does Grannies, which I have no idea what in the heck that is, but that kind of sounds dirty. Bluey does Grannies. I'm not saying anything else other than that. Here is a book about BTS, which I think is that really popular Korean band. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. And this is probably breaking all sorts of trademark infringement rules, but they still went ahead and did it, and primarily taking advantage of the fact that BTS is fire. This is an interesting philosophy that they did on this book. It's telling them that you don't want to read this, because then people are going to be like, well, why are you telling me not to read this? And then they're going to want to read it. So you could also do something to the effect and create a book, or you don't want to color this, or you don't want to do these activities, and then just making it plain so people become curious, and therefore they feel the need to absolutely have to buy. And again, we see more Easters and some ninjas, which we've talked about in the past. All right, so here we have this Princess Stoner coloring book, which is interesting on so many different levels. First and foremost, it would not be interesting if it was an adult coloring book, but we are clearly in the children's section. Which brings me to the question of what in the hell are we giving our kids to learn about? Like, seriously, Tracy Taylor, you should be ashamed of yourself. First and foremost, not only is it a Princess Stoner book in the children's book section, but you got the Little Mermaid on there with some seashells on her boobies, and on top of that, she's completely tatted up. So, just makes me wonder what in the heck's gonna happen next. Right? But this should clearly not be in the children's section, and it's selling well. I'm even afraid to peek into the inside, and when I am afraid to do something, you know that there's something up, because I usually do most things, and I usually do a lot of bad things. So right in here, I don't know what to say, but I would not do this, although it did work. Who knows? Maybe Tracy's onto something. But let's continue looking. Here's another Ramadan, I Spy Ramadan, a cow coloring. I think we kind of looked at these already. I could be wrong, but we talked about the Ramadan in depth and in detail. And this one right here, Gigantosaurus. Gigantosaurus, this is going on the theme of dinosaurs. However, again, doing the adding of the adjectives to the beginning of the book, which makes them sexier, it makes them sound bigger, badder, and better. And that, my friends, sells books. So I love this Gigantosaurus one. I think it's very unique. and that's why it's selling extremely well. Now, this one right here reminds me of the scavenger hunt, get kids out of their seats doing things. And parents particularly love this crap when it involves learning something and topics that they cover in school. So this is a big chemistry experience for little kids. It's got a fantastic cover with a volcano, something flying out of the volcano, makes you think you're going to do that, and it possibly does make you do that. Now, you could also do this for subjects like math, and really it takes brainstorming to figure out other subjects, but there's a ton of them that you could probably do this for, and parents would absolutely eat this shit up because it gives them the illusion that their kids will do these and they will be learning something in the process. So it's doing extremely well at 47K BSR, 7 reviews. So I would look into doing other ones similar to that. And let's see if there's anything else before we round up the top 100. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's jump into diaries just to make sure there's nothing over there. But all in all, the fact of the matter is that Easter, again, dominating the charts. That's why it's all over the place. Here again is a Ramadan one, which is fantastic. It is creating a sub-holiday as part of a major holiday. Remember, most sellers are going to attack the major holiday, but there's a ton of sub-holidays within that. We talked about it being Jesus's, I don't even know, I don't think it's his birthday's Christmas. I don't know what, Jesus did something during Easter, and shame on me for not knowing that, but I don't really know. So Ramadan is dominating the charts. I would certainly look into something like that. Here we go again with slapping unicorns on everything and anything, and they do well. And this is fantastic. This is an Easter sketchbook for kids, so it's probably just a cute cover with a bunch of blank pages in it, and there's nothing better than having one of those and it making some sales. So other than that, we rounded up with gratitude journals for girls, which again we've talked about in previous hot new releases, but that's a wrap. Let me know questions and comments below. I always personally answer them, and I'll see you guys next time.